Greetings. I guess it's time. 6 o'clock. Take them headphones off because they confuse me. All right, let me look at what we got here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rabun County Rag, where we use the old radio analogy of a rag chewing, where we get together and check on each other and make sure everybody's doing okay. I think I'm getting a little feedback on them headphones. Y'all excuse me while I shut them headphones off because I don't want to hear them. But, all right. There. Nope. Still didn't shut them off. Shut them off. Did I? Okay. There we go, boys and girls. Sorry about that. I guess I'm still learning this old computer business here. I've got it online, though. I'm here online now. I think if y'all see my mouth moving, but you don't hear what I'm saying, that give me a high five, send me a message or something, and let me know that I'm goofed up. Well, goofed up on this. I get comments all the time about being goofed up by the people I love the most. But I guess they's the only one who'd tell me my downfalls. I don't know. Anyway, let's check out the chat. I'm going to run a test here. Yeah, if this thing sounds too loud, if I'm blowing you out, my meter say I'm in the green, not in the yellow, so I guess I'm okay. But like I said, I can't listen to them headphones. Anyway, Rabun County, welcome to the Rabun County Rag. It's here where we gather together to talk about the things we like the most. And that's fishing, hunting, community things, what's going on in the community, our neighbors, our community, make sure everybody's all right, exchange information, find out what the challenges are, find out how we can help one another. This is the place that we can get that done. I hope everybody's had a grateful week. I hope everybody's found something to express gratitude about. I know I try and do it every day. Sometimes it's hard getting up early in the morning. I like to get my gratitude in at the first of the day because I'm not near as grumpy as I am by the end of the day. That's funny. It's funny. Later in the day, the tired you are, the harder it is to find gratitude. And that's probably the time you need to find the most gratitude. What y'all think? Send me a comment. Let me know if anybody ever pops on this thing. But like I said in the past, at least I'm learning. I'm getting all this technical stuff down. It gives me something to do on a Thursday evening. I'm satisfied with that. Here, old grandboy up there this evening, he came over to spend the night. So as soon as I'm off of here, I got him for about 30 minutes or 40 minutes before he has to turn in and go to bed, and I'm going to agitate him much as possible. It's amazing to watch them kids grow, change. When I was a parent, we were always in such a hurry as parents. You're always in a hurry, taking care of kids, taking care of dogs, cooking meals, going to the grocery store, rushing around like crazy. Not as slow as it used to be. I think it could be, but I think we get so much stuff in our head that's going so fast, we think we need to catch up with it. And, it's like me watching the news today. Just one thing right after another, man. I'm going, wow, does any of this stuff really matter? And then they showed the part where they're trying to land that thing on the moon. I don't understand it. I think they said they've had one successful mission, one failure, and two half and half, like the thing landed on its side instead of landing straight up. And they said that it's a navigational issue. It's getting the jets and all that to give it keep it balanced on the way down, and it's also it could be a navigational thing. And I'm thinking, why would it be a navigational thing unless GPS works differently on the moon, I reckon that would be the case. If that's the case, why didn't they have? Hey, listen, I'm not a scientist. I'm seems like they would put satellites orbiting the moon to give precise locations where an object is on the moon. I don't know. Anyway, um, there's going to be failures. Man, there's nobody on that thing. I don't know how we did it back in the old Apollo days. And boys had kahunas made of brass, I reckon. Steely jawed guys, top of their physical and mental game, had less computing power than this telephone. And they went out there, landed that thing, walked around, took some pictures, and come back with samples. Hmm. We seem to be having a lot. Maybe I need to get Elon. Elon, are you in that, buddy? If you ain't, maybe you ought to call them up, see if they need a hand. But no, I know that they'll eventually be successful because the road to success has a lot of challenges in it. And then when you get to that point where you think you wanted to be, you have changed your mind and then redirecting in a different way. You never get to where you think you want to go. I haven't. Maybe somebody else out there has, and their daily living has gotten to where they think they want to be. It, I don't know how that would feel to arrive. Seems like I'm just walking all the time, going, trying to figure it out, changing direction, looking at something different, doing something different, trying to expand my whatever. Anyway, I had the mandolin, so I've not had any lessons, and I don't. Oops, excuse me. I don't know any songs I can listen to them, but that's just me playing stuff that's coming through, and I've been told by one person or two that it sounds like a squalling cat or something. But you know what? I like the sound of it and I like to play it. So I just sit away from everybody and enjoy it on my own. I don't need no admiration. If the squirrels and the deer want to walk up on me and see what that racket is, if it's a dying animal or what, I'm cool with that too. Anyway, moving on. Good news. We talked about being grateful. Good news. Good news is my grandson's up there, Stevie. Spring is coming to us here. I've got it on my list of things to do. Y'all don't believe it, but I keep a list. I keep a journal. I keep a journal of everything I try to do every day. Journal, stuff I'm doing. And in that journal, other than finish my taxes, is starting seeds. Last year I got this pantry down in the basement. It's a block room underground. And I had to run a heater in there to keep it up. And them old plants got leggy. I got them lights, but I got one of them stainless steel shelves, like they have in food service. And I got a couple of lights in there. And last year I used one of those electric heaters to keep that room. This year I was thinking about wrapping that whole uh, shelving unit in some thick, clear plastic. And I'm betting the lights alone may generate enough heat to keep those plants at the right temperature without having to run that heater. If I did have to run the heater, I'm sure it'd warm that little old space up a lot quicker than it did that 10 by 10 block room. So that's where I'm at. I got a perfect place for a greenhouse. It's got a thermal mass. It's a retaining wall, and it's got good thermal mass. It gets good exposure. But man, I just don't know. A greenhouse, it wouldn't be very big. Maybe half an A-frame. The walls like this, half an A-frame. Let me see. Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. And 10 foot by 8 foot by 8 foot by 10 foot, and with a door in it, and just frame it up on that retaining wall. It's concrete wall, And you know, during the day, the heat in there would heat that wall, and then it could disperse it out again at night. I don't know how well it'd hold up in these 19-degree days or 9-degree days. It'd probably be a struggle, and I'd have to heat it, and I don't know if I'd have a heater big enough to do it. But I could use it as a 3-season greenhouse. I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. Give me a comment. Anybody on here? That don't look like it. Well, you're more welcome to join. It says I can pop that chat out. Let me see if I can do that. Let me see what that thing will do. It didn't do nothing. Let's see. Pop out chat. Popped out the chat, boys and girls. I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. Let's see if I can. It didn't do no good. It didn't help. Uh-oh. I can't even now. It won't even let me pick it up and move it. Here, let's see if it do it now. I just close it. It popped back in. All right, yeah, sorry about that. Hope I didn't interrupt anybody's viewing pleasure. Where's my notes at? Oh yeah, good news. We went over the spring is in the air. It's coming. I got that old tractor tire off. Darn old thing was running flat, and I took some soapy water and sprayed on it, and it, man, that thing looks like it's been recapped or something. I'm not even gonna tell you the name of the tractor company because I've been pretty satisfied with the tractor thus far. Got a little under 100 hours on it, and it's paid for itself on some of the work I've had to do around here. So it's a wash right now. But those tires are a little disappointing. First of all, they look like retreads, and then it started going flat, and then I aired it, took it off, aired it up, took out those soapy water, and there's 2 or 3 places that just look like there's a bunch of little pinholes. And that sidewall, I ain't ever run it flat, I don't think. But and it was just on the inside too. And I had a couple solutions in mind. I went up here to the tire outfit. I don't remember the name of. If y'all want to know what the tire outfit is, send me a message and I'll tell you. They're local here in Northeast Georgia. And I walked in and he looked at it and said, the best thing to do is put a tube in. And I said, that's what I figured. I said, I did think about that old solid field business and all that stuff, but when you go, if you ever do need a new tire for it, you go take it off. That stuff's all gunked up in there. It's a nightmare. Then you're going to have to buy a wheel. So they're going to put I should have went picked that thing up today. Dadgummit. It was done yesterday afternoon. They told me it was done yesterday afternoon, but as of late, the way the it just seems like you can't get things done fast enough. So that's why I had it off early to get it. But I'll go get it tomorrow and I'll get it back on the tractor. Darn old road needs work. I'm not going to till the garden this year. What time is it? I'm not going to till the garden this year. I'm going to do no till. I done decided. I've got some things I'd like to have. So as I get through this program, I've got show notes, greetings, good news, and we talk about other things. And that's one of the things we talk about. Got some exciting news, I think. I find it rather exciting, this news I'm fixing to share with you in a few minutes. So the good news is spring is here. So, I need to put that in here. We'll stay on gardening for a while. Gardening. All right. So gardening. Yeah, what's a good time to plant? I've always heard that the week after Easter. That puts it way into April, I think. But I'll go ahead and get my seeds started here in the next week or so. I'm going to have to get on the ball. I have to do my math backwards. Which y'all think be a good time to put your seedlings in the ground? Y'all send me a message. Let me know what you think. I'm thinking, let's see, when is Easter? Anybody know when Easter? I think it was the 14th or some crazy thing. All right. Easter is not until the 20th. So if I count back, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. So I'd give my seedlings 6 weeks. How old should your seedlings be before you put them out? Last year, man, they got leggy as all get outs, and I don't know whether I couldn't keep that room warm enough. I had a fan blowing, trying to keep it, and I had a thermometer in there, one of them cheap Wally World things. That might have been the problem. Had a heater in there, and just did the best I could and kept it at the recommended temperatures. But they said keep them lights on 16 hours a day. I don't know if that's right, because my understanding is that much sunlight will make your plants leggy unless I'm using the wrong spectrum or something. If y'all know anything about that, any of y'all run greenhouses or anything out there, y'all let me know. Hey, if I can get me some tomato plants and all that relatively cheap, I might give up on the idea of all this seed starting business instead of going to Wally World. I looked at a cucumber plant that I bought last year for some reason. It might have been the year before. It was $3.46. It was still on the carton for a darn cucumber. That's crazy, man. I mean, I didn't have a blockbuster garden last year, but it was adequate, and I didn't pay. I bet I didn't pay that much for the darn watermelon seeds, and I had at least 3 or 4. And then you throw in a couple squash, couple zucchinis, and hell, the taters. I just took those taters out of the grocery store and chopped them up and threw them in the dirt and got a few taters. I like them little red ones, them little red skinned ones. Them was good. Uh, so I did go out there and drill and poison that darn old tulip poplar, though. I went around it about 6 times with I guess it was a 3/8 bit, and then took some of that glucofine, that Roundup, and took a little uh, dropper, filled it up, and filled them holes to the top. I'm gonna do it again when the weather gets really warm. I could tell the sap starting to flow. I can see some greenwood developing on the ends there, some new growth. So I could see that going on. I'm going to get that thing taken care of. Man, it blocks so much sun. It's a good shade producer if you want one, but doggone, it eats up the sunlight. So I'm getting shed of that thing. That's good news. Get rid of that. So I have done a couple things this week. I still ain't done nothing with this harmonic. Is it y'all I'm talking about with this harmonic or the other bunch? Yeah, maybe y'all. I'll have to go back and look. This is what key is this in? It's in key G. Let me see if I can get the focus for y'all. See it right there. Wrong way. Right there. Key G. In the key of G, and it's one of them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20 holes. Yeah, got a trigger on it. Anyway, never did take it apart and clean it. No telling what kind of disease I just got on myself. I mean, I wiped it down, but still, who knows what's breeding down in there? I got a flea market. I can always make no. You know what I want to get, and I ain't done it yet. It's one of them jaw harp. Ding, 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 ding. I used to have one. Where did I have that thing at? I don't remember, but I wasn't very responsible. Anytime the boss man walked by, I'd whip it out and you know, when he was walking by, he'd get madder than hell at me. I did my job good. I did my job good. He just didn't like that old mouth harp. That old job one time, I drove forklift for a while. I was a kid, man. Driving 100 miles an hour, and it was in a new warehouse, too, buddy. Brand new warehouse. We was stocking material, and I thought I was getting to be hot, you know what, on that skid steer. Man, I was gassing on to go get another pallet stack, and I one of them steel columns, you know, hold the building up. I dead centered that something. I had my seatbelt on. I stayed in, but that was a rough darn ride, man. It bruised me pretty good. Anyway, that was crazy too. Oh boy. I don't know if there'll ever be mixed company on here, but he a little short guy, kind of on the heavy side. He was bigger around than I was, and he talking one day. He says, "You know, sometimes a good bowel movement is better than you know." Yeah, I just thought that was funny. I couldn't understand it till I got about 50. No, I take that back. Um, I'm pretty regular now. I try to get that roughage in. I have an apple, you know, and some kind of roughage, and I get up in the morning. By the time I start the coffee and brush my teeth and take my meds, and I drink a big old glass of water, 10, 12, 16 ounces every morning. By the time I get dressed and about ready to go, I get that signal, and it's a morning routine, except on weekends. It's like your body goes, "Hey man, you're sitting around relax. Why don't you go take another one?" I'm like, "Okay." anyway, enough about that old stuff. So we're in the gardening. Now with this no-till, I know I'm gonna have to be mulching. So I've got wood chips. They say that's really high in nitrogen. But on the other hand, they say if you don't till it in and just put it on the top, that it doesn't have that big of effect. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Uh, I need more mulch anyway, but I'll talk about some of that too. That's in the further on down the line when we come to another section of the hour where it's 7:20, 6:20, right? 6:20, 6:23 according to the internet. So if you're watching this, you'll know how far the delay is just by looking at your clock on that time stamp I gave you. Unless you're watching it tomorrow morning at 6:30, but if you're live, anybody on here? Man, ain't nobody on here. No. Oh well. Been at it for 25 minutes, and I went back and looked in all my other videos. Ain't nobody been on there either, but I'm still having a good time. Hey, but watch this. Watch this. Let's see here. Look at that. Got the newspaper on there so we could read the newspaper together if I find something interesting that I might want to show you. So I find that kind of cool. Let's see, go back to the other one. I think that's kind of cool. Change the background. I see that old skeleton all the time, so I put the seal of Georgia behind me. That's pretty interesting seal. At the bottom in the red ribbon, it says Georgia. And on this column to the one to my left, it says wisdom. And then that ribbon across the top between first and third columns says justice. And on the right column, it has a ribbon that says moderation. State of Georgia was established in 1799. That's when, in that top word across the arch is Constitution. So that's the Georgia state seal. I don't know if it's the current one or not, and I didn't put no other colors on there. I didn't want no daggum comments from some whatever. I don't want to deal with that stuff. I'm from Georgia. I have reverence for Georgia's place in history, being one of the 13 that decide to make our own way in this world. And I'm kind of disappointed in some of the other ones, notably above the Mason-Dixon. I'm kind of disappointed how that turned out. Still have some difficulty with it. States' rights reign superior, in my opinion. I could be wrong. But anyway, let's not go down that rabbit hole unless somebody wants to. They ain't. Hey, if one dude or one person hopped on, look, I got a viewer. Hey, somebody say hello. Oh, they left me. Darn. They must have been scrolling by. Oh man. I had a viewer for a second there though. Somebody's gonna pop in. It's gonna be an amazing day. I'm gonna be that first viewer. That first viewer is gonna be so sweet. If they stay for just 3 minutes and say hey and go see something else, I will be ecstatic. One viewer. Because that one viewer might say, hey, watch this so silly fool. And I have two that just pop in. And then if I can get me a few hundred, y'all just pop in on Thursday evening. Maybe somebody who lives in the community, they want to watch. They got something to say about what I'm talking about. Anyway, gardening, mulch, need the mulch. I'm just undecided on that. Working on killing that tree. Starting seeds, talked about that. Anybody else? Y'all send me a message, send me a comment, let me know what you're thinking about spring gardening. Now we got the thing that a lot of us are really on here for, the seasons of the game. Hunting. What's coming up? Turkey. Gobble, 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 gobble. Turkey hunt. Man, they had them old boys on the old YouTube the other night, and I just got to scroll through that. I understand the necessity of taking a life to survive, but to glorify a kill shot or to glorify an arrow shot taking the head clean off of a turkey, I mean, that's pretty amazing. And if I see it one time, I can do an assessment that that's pretty amazing and really not have to see it much anymore. Even there's a old boy on there that shoots them doves off of buildings, and I guess that's cool, man. Especially if you know what kind of weapon he's using, an air gun or a small caliber rimfire. And it's interesting to watch those guys work. And there's those exterminators too that they hire them out and they go into barns at night and use night vision and everything else and kill them rodents. I understand the purpose behind that too. But it seems like I'd go with the barn cats first and then go with that kind of thing. Because, and I've seen them with ferrets and Dutch hounds and everything else chasing them darned old rats in there. If you're going to do that, I believe in the old Jerry Clower way where you gas them. You hook a hose up to you, the muffler on you, exhaust on your automobile, your pickup truck, and run it to a hole and pump it full of carbon monoxide. He says ain't nothing funnier than watching them carbon monoxide poison rats come out of them holes. I guess that's fun. I thought it was funny. Anyway, no, you can do that. But I don't need to. I mean, I'll flip by every now and then and watch him take down some of them rats. That's probably way down the list of things I really don't care about. But still, I think you should go with barn cat before you go with a rifle, because you know they're just gonna dig a hole and bury them, and that. Well, they'll fertilize the soil eventually, I guess. I guess, but man, you'd be missing out on cat fights. I don't know if I ought to tell this. I'll just put it this way. There's a man in Tennessee up around Fort Campbell. And he was a gentle hearted man. And he fed them old cats. Man, he must have had 100 of them. And he feed them, made some of them run out there, got 6 toes, 2 faces. It was interesting, kind of scary, but it was interesting. And but I appreciated his big heartedness that he felt that those animals need to be fed. And I don't know. I don't know what they ever did with them, but that was quite. Cause you know they'd come out there, boy, and visitors they probably didn't know who was who. They just know when they heard footsteps, food wasn't far behind, and they just come running out from anywhere, man. Under the crawl space, out from under a freezer. It was on the back. It was they out of the little storage sheds, out of the grass and the weeds, the barns over there where the cows are. They just come, man. They woo. That was crazy, but anyway, that that was a good-hearted person, and his family's very. I'm very proud to be associated with all that bunch. Anyway, there's the hunting. Is the turkey. We got off on that old rabbit hole with the rats and the squirrels and the but squirrels out of now I guess if a squirrel is a pest and you know you live on an island and there's 10 million of them and half of them is lop-footed or you know mentally deficient and starving and dying, then I guess you could say it's all right to eliminate a few by means of air guns or whatever. Because what else you gonna do? Have cats and you have 10,000 cats like that old dude. So maybe just shooting them is the best thing and putting them in the dirt when you go to think about it like that. Heaven knows me to judge. Y'all tell me what you think. Give me a comment. Man, that one viewer, I had one viewer. Anyway, um, hunting, fishing, we talked about that, the bass. And my little boy had a picture. I don't know, I get notifications on Facebook and I just go see what it was. And the old boy had old gray dun or gray, a fly. You could tell what it was, probably a size 10 or 12 hook. So things are starting to happen. Things are the jonquils at the top of the drive I planted for the wife. They're blooming. So I always grab a couple bags of wildflower seed, and I've got an entryway up there at the driveway, and I just kind of this year I'm not even gonna plow that. You know what? I'm gonna throw it to the wind. I may put some topsoil in there and scratch it in, and then take that old wildflower seed and scratch it in and see what the results are. They're supposed to be wildflowers. They're supposed to be hardy. They're supposed to be able to just ready to come up anywhere. But I figure if I don't till it in, if there's any seeds or anything that started growing last year, anything that overwintered, then it may come up and at least hold the soil back and produce some kind of color. Yeah. And on the other side of that, I grow zinnia around the garden to keep the pollinators coming in for the plants. So I plant those zinnias, and always my wife and I always collect a bunch of the seed heads, and then every spring I break them up and get a couple handful of seeds, and I got a zinnia bed on the opposite side of that wildflower, but it's just a little maybe 2 foot wide swath that follows the driveway a little ways. Um, but I'll till that. And I got another little one up there too, just to add color. And I got a collard green patch up there. Now that one I may till in, throw some. I got to throw some topsoil in that because that soil is rough. And yeah, I'll probably till that in this year. I'm trying to get collard greens that stay up there all year round. For me and the wildlife. And then I killed that tree, so that's another big one. I got to figure out. I'll probably put a broadcast crop in there. I hadn't really figured it out. What y'all like to grow around here? I've seen some people grow wheat, but I don't know if I want to do that. Turnips? Make it a herb garden, but I don't think it gets enough sunlight, even with that tree being killed. Sunflowers, I don't think it gets enough light for sunflower. Lettuce, some kind of green. Peas, sugar peas. I kind of like, and I tried it last year, but I don't think I was very successful. Is planting what the Indians would call three sisters. You'd put a corn, a squash, and a bean, and you'd plant them on the same hill, and they would all three grow together, and that they call them the sisters. And that way, if you could go out and harvest one that was ready and leave part of it or take the whole thing or whatever, but that's what they called that, the three sisters. Thought about doing some of that. We don't eat a lot of that. I don't. Corn? I don't eat a lot of it. Unless it's big, beautiful ears and they're roasted over an open fire, and then you take them and dip them in a bucket of butter and shake out some seasoning on them. I'll eat that, yeah. But out of the can, I think I'd rather fish with it. Anyway, look at that. 35 minutes already got by. I told that grand boy I'd try and get up there and visit with him he has to go to bed. That's important to make sure you give children a regular schedule. It's important for you to have a regular schedule. Any doctors out there that flip by want to say hello, and if you catch that portion, give your opinion on schedules and regularity and daily habits, and give some insight on that, whether you think it's healthy or not, and if your body functions better under it or less than better under it. I don't know. I was just fishing around. Fishing, that's what we're supposed to be on, fishing. Crappie, old bluegill. I started to go for a walk the other morning, but yesterday morning, I went and took off the trash, and I got the darn trailhead, and I got the feeling bad, in the bowels. I was afraid to get out through there and have to dash off into the woods, and being wintertime, be a lot. Well, maybe dried leaves would have been available, but I did some stretching and I started walking. I got 200, 300, 400 yards, and oh boy, it started bubbling pretty good. And I said, well, I better beat feet back to the truck. I'm in a situation anyway, but if I can make it back to the house to a more comfortable environs to manage this, I'd be much happier for the rest of the day. Anyway, I did make it home, and then shortly thereafter, the rumble in the porcelain, that thing took off like a rocket. Anyway, I'm glad I didn't go for that. Why, it'd been uncomfortable the rest of the day. I'd have to come on. Nah, this is going something else. Fishing. Um, I didn't see much fish. When I walk the lake, I keep an eye on things like brim beds or bass that are schooling, or uh, just the signs. There's some ducks on their migratory pattern stopping in, and I think they mostly eat green stuff. They might eat a few bugs if there's. I'm not sure. I did catch a duck one time on a dry fly. I was catching them. There were no fish. Weren't no. I just little bitty things. I was just catching them. I had real ultralight, and I was just catching them and pitching them back in. So I guess a duck will eat a fish, cause he got that fish I was reeling in and swallowed it. I had to wrestle him. I had to wrestle him down. Me and that damn ultralight. I finally got him, and it was caught in his bill, and I could get the thing out. Man, I'm just glad he didn't swallow it. I just cut it off if he'd swallowed it and hope for the best. But no wood. What was that? One with a green head. I got a picture of one of them right here. So wood duck with the green head. Drake. I don't know. I got a picture of it over there. So fishing, looking for the eggs up near the shore, looking for the minnows along the bank, looking for all those signs that the fishing might be turning on. Uh, trout. I imagine they're starting to move. You have to get them, still stay with them. I don't know if it's. Well, that picture I saw on the Facebook, that one was a mature one. It had its wings fluffed out, so it was flying. Um, I'd have to go down there to the river and hang out and see what's happening, I guess. Take a can of them Georgia nymphs, or a screen of, what do you call them damn things you put them crickets in, and get me some Georgia nymphs and some red wigglers, and I don't know. I quit going with the corn and the power bait. I think I have a couple tins of that power bait that's 7 or 8 years old. And last time I tried, even thought about using it, I give it to the kids if I see them on the bank or something. But if I ain't catching them, I ain't resorting to that. I just ain't catching them. If I can't catch them on a worm or a cricket or find something in the creek, anything like that, if I can't, I ain't. If I can't, I don't know what you want to call that. Silliness, stupidity, not wanting to catch the fish. I'm against that. So anyway, that's where we are with the fishing. Ready to get in it. Another thing I've heard is you go crappie fishing when the dogwood's in bloom. Y'all let me. This warm spell, son-in-law was telling me some boys are catching. Matter of fact, I think he caught some crappie. Oh yeah, they went into one of them trout farms and they caught some nice fish. They had dinner the other night. The fish they caught, and it really wasn't that bad. I think they said, I don't think it was but a couple dollars a pound. That's cheaper in the grocery store. They were nice fish, had good color on them. They raise them from fry all the way up to catch and get out of there. And the son-in-law said a little 12-year-old girl was working there. And she embarrassed him. She could daggone fillet one and gut it out so fast. He was ashamed to stand there. I told him that 12-year-old girl was making minimum wage and living the life. Could you imagine being 12 years old and making minimum wage for 10 hours a week? Man, oh, life. You you could buy whatever your heart desired at that age, I'd imagine, except maybe an auto. Well, 12, you don't want no darn automobile. You want some cute little low flowery top or something. Whatever, 12-year-old girl. Bless her heart. She was living the life, though. All right. Listen, couple more things here before we move on down the line. I did read that the Bigfoot conference, I think it said it was coming to Cornelia. The Bigfoot conference, boys and girls. I mean, That is some good news. Let me see if I can find that thing. Right? No, I don't want to see that. Maybe it went this way. I don't know. Well, let's go out this way a few pages. I'm looking for it. There is a Bigfoot conference coming. I want to say it's coming to Cornelia. Oh boy from the. Oh, shoot. Yep. Steps taken. Let me put this on that other screen for you. Steps taken for Bigfoot conference at Piedmont University. That's a big occurrence. They got some high powered speakers there. Stacy Brown, legendary footage presented on Finding the Bigfoot Show. Y'all heard that. And they got another keynote speaker here, Jessica Jones, cryptid huntress, radio host. But they got a bunch of them. This thing is on, looks like it's on the weekend of the 21st. Let's see here. The schedule for the Georgia Bigfoot Conference includes a reception, welcoming party, and entertainment at the R.M. Rose Distillery on Friday, 21 March from 6 to 9 p.m. Tickets for all events may be purchased at www.georgiabigfootconference.org through PayPal. Y'all go ahead and pay that. So it looks like it's on Saturday, too. On Saturday. They got anything going on with that special? They got special guest Bob Keelam, the maestro of wrestling. Guys, you don't want to miss that. And you got Kevin Holland. He's from seasons 3 and 4 of The Walking Dead. And then then the same thing happens on Saturday at 7 a.m. They got vendors coming in, so you can actually go there and buy Bigfoot memorabilia. I think that's exciting. Once again, that is the Georgia Bigfoot Conference at Piedmont University. This is brought to you by the Clayton Tribune. And then we got some political stuff. Boy, you can tell some of these old Dixiecrats on here. I like them, but then again, sometimes you could tell some of them are at the trough, so to say. DEI is not just about race. This is a letter to the editor. I don't know if I need to read any of that stuff. Oh my God. Yeah, know what? I don't know, man. It's so, to me, so, I don't know, petty? I don't know if that's the word. Old politics, man. And then, I see all these judges are being appointed. Here's the question that occurred to me. If we were to take a look at our population, say 100 years ago, before the Great Depression, and looked at how many total judges were in the population. Say there were 1,000 people in America and there were 100 judges. I wonder what that ratio is today, because it seems like everybody is somehow related to being a judge or using money that is generated through the court system. Um, like this one, Advisory Council for Opiate Abatement Fund. So I guess that there's been a big lawsuit won against some chemical manufacturer, pharmaceutical firm, and all these counties and states are standing in line with their hands held out. So, here we are using people who get addicted to drugs that are generated by the pharmaceutical companies end up in the prison system, spending their fortunes and their life trying to get straightened out because of an edict by a judge. And then they fall into the the jail system, the penitentiary system, whatever that is. And all of that is run by local, state, and federal tax dollars, which they get from the citizenry. And these programs that they generate, where they, as a condition of you getting back into society from the jailhouse, that you pay all these dollars for these things that the judge says, okay, you've done this and you're going to pay a $10,000 fine, which probably covers the court costs. All the people in the court, the recorders, the officers, the judge, the uh, stenographers, or whatever they're called, shorthand people who do it, all that stuff. That probably covers that cost. So the rest of that money falls on the criminals. And if they're incarcerated, they're not producing an income. They're living high on the hog, you ask me. 3 squares or 2 squares a day in a cot, and you get to watch TV all day or work out, or some of them get educated. Good for them. That means they're moving in the right step. Uh, but that's all on the back of a taxpayer. I don't know if that's fair. Guy gets up at 5:30 in the morning, goes to his plumbing job all week, and if he didn't have a company truck, he probably wouldn't have nothing to drive. His wife is driving something that's probably not as nice as some other folks, and I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess. All got to do with government and taxes. Government and taxes. Government. Only reason we got taxes because we got government. Or which came first, the government or the taxes? More. Hey, more money they see, the more government they need. You got. Hey, you know how much money they got in the South? I'm sorry. Oh, where's my list at? Let's move along. We're running short of time. Now comes the section of trade. We'll call this the trade section before we close out. We don't have that many people, and some of these segments may change in length because you can't do but so much. But items wanted. I'll speak first. Oh, I didn't hit the hand thing. I'll speak first. Let me get my darn camera back up. Darn it. I will. I need, as we was talking about gardening, I need some mulch. That's too high. I use hay mulch. I don't care if it's been in a barn. Uh, it just don't matter to me. I need some kind of mulch, preferably hay. Maybe been through a winter in a heat or something like that. But I can throw it in my mulch pile, run it through a heat, and sterilize it that way. But I need some mulch. If you got bales, I'll take bales. I don't know if I can haul around in this F-150 with that V6 power boost. I don't know. Maybe y'all know. I don't know how much. I forget how much them darn one of them bales weighs. My sister-in-law tried to haul one time. It split her truck, it bowed out both sides of her truck. Put that big old round bell on the truck bed on both sides, bowed out. Went from straight to. Anyway, that's what happened there. So, also, I've been thinking about making me an outdoor kitchen. There's these old boys on the YouTube channel, and they're from the county of Michoacan in Mexico. And I don't know if they're involved in farming. I don't know if they own the farm. I don't know if they're laborers, but they always cook on an open fire. And it's always authentic Mexican food. And I'm thinking, man, I'd like to do some of that because I enjoy Mexican food. Not the stuff you get in the restaurants, man. That ain't no different than McDonald's. But some of this stuff made with fresh food and cooked out on the open fire and using the and what they do is they have these their disc tiller disc. Darn, I got that old camera again. Their tiller disc, and they weld that hole up in the middle and put handles on it, and it's kind of like a shallow wok. And they build a fire and put some bricks in it, and around it. And sometimes they have a piece of wire, expanded metal. Everybody's got some of that, and they just cook. They'll do pork, beef, seafood. I've seen them do all kinds of things, and then they use the mocheta. It's that rock bowl with the pestle in it, and they put garlic and spices, and then if they want a salsa, they'll add tomatoes and onions. Sometimes it's fresh, sometimes it's roasted. And they season it appropriately. And I'm thinking, doggone. And the tortillas, they throw them straight on the fire. I've had them that way. They're great, man. They get that special, that wood flavor on them. They're great. That toasted, burnt pieces on it. It's good. And then you put your condiments on it. Lay in some uh, refried beans. And then some kind of meat. It could be anything from ground beef to chicken that's thinly sliced to beef to pork to anything. And then, salsa, avocado, green onions. And man, I like watching them boys eat. I like that stuff. But anyway, that's two of the things I need: mulch and a disc, a big disc. I guess 10-inch disc, 12. I don't know how size, but one of those larger discs. Um, and man, we got so many troubles with the bears, but I'd like to get some more chickens from my wife. I told the kids I was gonna get about a dozen ducks for that grandboy. Let them take them home and raise them ducks out there where they live. They'll be following him around all over the darn place. Um, and then is there anybody that's got any items they need to get shed of? Old lawnmower, weed eater, or anything like that. Uh, if you need to get it gone, just if you want to post it on here or send a message, we'll get it out there, and somebody might want to trade it. But that's what we're gonna keep doing. I got 1 minute left. Listen, it's been a real joy entertaining myself. And if you scroll by and see this, do me a favor and give me a thumbs up. And I promise I'm going to be here uh, Thursday evenings from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock so that we can chat it up, at least until there's somebody else who wants to take it, because I think this is a community thing and I'm just trying to get it going. I thought it was a good idea, and I'm going to work on making it a good idea so that we can have community interaction, trade, check on one another, just have an all around good community time together. I'd like to make it G-rated. I know that I have to watch what I say from time to time and the things I say, but I really like for kids to get involved. There might be some Boy Scouts that need to get together and our Boy Scouts who say, hey, we got a Boy Scout troop over here, or if there's a church fundraiser, we can get it out there through this. I'd like to see it become uh, a source in the community for information. Anyway, my clock says it is 7 o'clock. I appreciate if y'all scroll by this, please come back next Thursday. Give me something to talk about. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up. Y'all have a beautiful rest of your evening. And always, always try to have a grateful day. And we'll see you next time.